Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Willow Springs International Raceway in Rosamond, California. We are here for the 6th race of the season in the 2022 Haas IndyCar Series. This is the Grand Prix of California. 20 laps around this 2.5 mile road course here today, the 3rd road course race of the season, and the first time we have ever come here in the Haas IndyCar Series, so we should be in store for an interesting race here today. Of course, this is a very high speed, very wide sweeping road course, a lot like Riverside was about a month ago when we went there, so anticipate a similar race here today. But then again, maybe not. It's its own thing, and there's a lot to it that can definitely come into effect. About a 10 to 11 lap fuel run here as well, so this race can be split right in half with the fuel mileage. Joined alongside Josh Williamson for the call of this race, and Willow Springs is a fun, fast road course. It's the first time we've ever done open wheel cars here. How do you think these guys are going to fare here in this Grand Prix of California?
Well, it's like you said, it's a very fast course, about 2.5 miles here. It's a very flowing corner with wide flowing course with all the wide turns here. There are some slower sections of the track, so like turn 4 over by the Budweiser balcony up there. It's about the slowest they'll go on the course, with the exception of maybe turn 5 just at the bottom of the hill. So there are plenty of differences and varieties of speed going into the corners and through the corners as well, but most of them are pretty quick. Turn 8, for example, the big wide sweeping corner before you get into turn 9, the last corner on the racetrack, turn 9, to get right back onto the straightaway. That slows you up a little bit more before you get onto the front straightaway, but when you go off into turn 1, I know you're carrying about 170 plus miles per hour going off into that corner. I've never seen the IndyCars race here, so we'll have to see how it goes here. Should be a very, very interesting race here in Rosamond.
It definitely should be, and of course the lap times yesterday were just over a minute long, so roughly about the same speed that these guys reach at Riverside. Of course, we don't have as long of a back straightaway here at Willow Springs, so we don't quite reach the speeds that we do at Riverside, but pretty darn close here when it comes to this racetrack. In the points standing, Zachary Fitzwater holds a 4-point lead ahead of Trey Smith coming into this event. The only downside for Fitzwater, though, he starts kind of deep in the field, and Trey Smith starts in the 4th position. Nathan Faden, who won the last road course race at Circuit of the Americas, has 148 points towards the championship, 13 points behind, and then 41 points behind, tied with Thomas Troxell and Landon Smith Jr. there in the 4th position. We'll have to see how those guys do in this event. But starting on the pole here today is the number 97 of Richard Kinghorn, who has won at Riverside before, back in 2019, so we'll have to see if he can in fact get that to go his way here today at Willow Springs. He's alongside Chris Reynolds there. They were the 2 fastest drivers in the Fast 6 yesterday. Brian Rodriguez and Trey Smith alongside each other in row number 2. And then you have Ace Garcia and Nicholas Amedeo, Northern Racing teammates there in row number 3. The drivers who just missed out on the Fast 6 include Thomas Troxell and Brandon Nelson. Brandon Nelson started on the pole at Riverside earlier this season and almost won that race. Of course, Trey Smith won at Riverside earlier this year, so he's got a good shot at winning as well. And then you got the 37 of Eric Monaco, still going for his first ever IndyCar Series win, alongside last year's Indy 250 champion, Ethan Lewis. Caleb Rose and Scott Upton are there, as you see the rest of the starting lineup there alongside your screen. Of course, our points leader, Zachary Fitzwater, kind of midway through the field there in the number 66. We'll have to see how well he does, starting deep in the field here at Willow Springs. Well, Josh, I don't know how much you followed the series yet this season, but who do you think is going to have the advantage in this Grand Prix of California at Willow Springs here today?
To be honest with you, they're starting in about the 4th position. I'm going for the 2nd place pointsman, Trey Smith. I think he's starting in a good position on track, and though it is a very fast-flowing track with some heavy braking zones, it can be very difficult to pass here on this racetrack, so I would reckon that Trey Smith ought to be able to get up to the front here pretty quick and have a good chance of winning this race today.
We'll have to see what he can do there, starting from the 4th position. Of course, he won the Riverside race on strategy. That may come into play here today. Like I mentioned, that fuel window right about halfway in this race. And of course, with this being a road course, no caution, so we're going to be racing for 20 straight laps here today. Coming off of turn 9, pace cars down the pit lane. We're underway here at Willow Springs in the Haas IndyCar Series and the Grand Prix of California. A very good jump on the start there for Richard Kinghart in the number 97. Chris Reynolds there, and Brian Rodriguez in a battle there for second, but the 97 trying to pull away from the whole field here. You got Ace Garcia here now on Trey Smith, and then Sam Medeo trying to get that inside lane to work, get around the 41 as well. So the 41 of Trey Smith did not get a good start there, but he's going to remain in the 4th position, I do believe, as he's going to clear Ace Garcia there for that position. Go through the field. Looks like everyone got through that first lap, or at least the first half of that lap, cleanly. So hopefully we have a clean race here today at Willow Springs.
Kinghart got an excellent jump on the field there, no doubt about it. I thought Reynolds would have been a little more even with him, and he did appear to be at the start, but now Reynolds looks like he might be closing in on him a little bit, going through turn 9 down the front straightaway. And don't count out the 13 of Brian Rodriguez there in hot pursuit of both of them.
And of course, the exit of turn number 9 right there, definitely a treacherous place. You saw this guy sliding there through the corner, so definitely got to watch out for those guys and getting through the exit of that corner, especially on that first lap. But thankfully, everyone did seem to get through there without any major contact. You got Rodriguez here. Great opportunity for Brian Rodriguez, who, of all the first-time drivers this season, has the best run so far. He's got 100 total points towards the season, 8th in points, so he's highest of any of the first-time runners on the channel. And this will definitely help boost that for him in the number 13 here if he can get a top 5 finish, or even maybe a win here today. Of course, the strategy could play out in his favor if things go his way. But Chris Reynolds has also had a pretty solid season, at least in terms of qualifying this year. 24th in points, however, for Chris Reynolds. He would definitely love to capitalize on a good starting position and get a good run in one of these races, but he's going to go a little wide there off the exit of the corner. That might bring in Rodriguez and those guys there. Thomas Troxel and Nicholas Samadio. And then back in the field, we may be seeing a little bit of battling going on, but it looks like everyone has essentially single filed out. You got Zach Winkle and Noah Clifton in the battle right there, but just sliding around so much, it's difficult to stay double wide at any point on this racetrack. But Ace Garcia going to try to the inside of Trey Smith there. That is for the 4th position.
And in making good work of Smith so far, but he's going to have to make it through 3 well enough to have a chance of going through 4, and looks like he will. Sliding to the inside of the turn, and Garcia looks like he's going to take that position away by the time they get to turn 5. Smith coming back at him, though, on the low side of 5. But looks like Garcia is going to have him going up through turn 6 and down the straightaway.
It was a good run there for Ace Garcia as he's going to make the pass on Trey Smith for the race lead. Richard Kinghart is pulling away from the field, though, a second lead on the field, and it looks like that increased during this lap. So looking very good for Richard Kinghart. His teammate Elijah Gordon won the last race at Richmond. Of course, this is completely different from what we had at Richmond last week. Side by side right there between Monaco and Ethan Lewis. Monaco was across the line ahead of Lewis there, but I'm not sure who had the position initially. But Eric Monaco up into the 9th position there as he gets around the 11 machine of Ethan Lewis. Yeah, Fitzwater trying to make a move here on Brock Nelson back in the field. Of course, Fitzwater our points leader, but as they currently run, Trey Smith would, in fact, take that points lead. So Fitzwater definitely wants to work his way through this field and possibly have something for that 41 and hold on to this points lead. Of course, Fitzwater has held the points lead since the first race of the season at the Auto Club Speedway. And he definitely wants to keep that opportunity as we go on through the season. Of course, we're closing in on the Indy 250. We'll have 10 extra drivers for that race. Well, we'll actually have 7 extra drivers for the race, but 10 extra drivers are going to be attempting to qualify, and definitely excited to see some new teams on the grid once we get to the end of May, and that's only about 7 weeks from now, 6-7 weeks from now when we get to that point. Ace Garcia is fast, closing up to the gearbox of Brian Rodriguez here for the 3rd position, but he could not get around him at the proper time, and Trey Smith might be closing in on the 32 machine.
And he's going to have a really good chance of maybe getting around Garcia, too, as they go through the 450-degree radius rabbits here in turn 2. Here comes the 31 as well into the mix. That is Nicholas Samadio closing into the back of the gearbox of the 41 of Trey Smith as they go up by Budweiser balcony at turn 4. Down the hill to turn 5, one of the heavy braking zones on the racetrack. You see the accordion together. But they'll go right out of that corner, the same order, and up through turn 6 by Monroe Ridge and into 7. And at Wings Leg, this little kink, very slight kink on the straightaway, and into the sweeper of turn 8. and then into the 600-degree radius of turn 9. Looks like the 50 might have a chance of catching up to Kinghart here in just a second. Oh, here we go with Garcia.
Not going to be able to peek out ahead of the 13, as the 13 kind of blocks his line. Or should I say, Reynolds is closing in on Kinghart here. That 13 definitely holding these guys up, but it is difficult to make a pass here, even as wide and sweeping as this course is. You got to make the pass at the perfect time, so it's one thing to catch up to a driver, it's another thing to pass them, and we hear that quite a bit throughout the racing on this channel and in real life as well. But Reynolds going up the hill here, he's going to have a shot at taking this race lead before the cycle of pit stops begin, I do believe, but we're just going to have to see if Kinghart is going to be able to hold him off before that cycle begins. It seems like these guys in the top 6, of course, all these guys in the top 6 were in the Fast 6 yesterday in qualifying, so we're definitely showing their speed. Troxel there in 7th, Brandon Nelson, Eric Monaco, Ethan Lewis, the top 10 right now. And Fitzwater not too far off from these guys. He is currently in the 14th position, about 6 seconds off. And then there's a considerable gap between him and Jesse Turner there. I'm wondering if something happened to a few of these guys on the course, and I do believe something did happen. Jay Knapp and Zach Winkle, Angel Olvera, all deep in the field as they're closing in on lap traffic here. The number 18 of Logan Williams getting in the way. So a few guys went off course at one point, and they have fallen off. So you'll see that in the corner of your screen as it happened. But, definitely a very interesting moment right there, and this could definitely influence the battle for the race lead.
I think the last time we went through turn 9, I did see some smoke off to the side, off in the dirt, so it is possible that at least one car went off, maybe two, because there seems to be a lot of lap traffic for the leaders right now. But here is Trey Smith going after Ace Garcia, headed through Wing's leg and now through the sweeper. Not able to get around just yet, but he's going to have another shot headed into turn 9, and then that long front straightaway all the way down to the Castrol corner in turn 1.
Unable to get a nose to the inside, though, and these guys are kind of stuck behind Logan Williams right now, so they might even lose more time to the top 2. But Kinghart and Reynolds are both in contention to win this race, no doubt about it. But these guys are losing a little bit of touch here to the race leaders. So everyone is still on the racetrack, only one driver lap down, that being Logan Williams. These guys closing in on Angel Olvera as Garcia trying to get a nose to the inside. Of course, tire wear is also coming into effect right here as well, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. But it does appear that it was Jay Knapp, Zach Winkle, the 25 of Angel Olvera, and the 18 of Logan Williams all caught up in whatever incident occurred, presumably off the exit of turn number 9.
Yeah, it certainly is a tough break for those drivers, absolutely. But it is certainly making a nightmare for Kinghart right now, trying to hold off this 50 of Chris Reynolds. Oh man, Kinghart got wicked loose going into 9 there. That's going to allow Kinghart to close in considerably. Maybe with a chance going into the... Well, he's not going to have a chance going into the Castrol corner, but he is definitely closed in a ton on our race leader, who's led all the laps so far, as we're just shy of halfway done here in the Grand Prix of California.
And next time, probably have another full lap before these guys come down the pit lane, but that cycle of pit stops is closing in pretty quick. Kinghart able to pull away there from the 50 of Chris Reynolds. It's all going to come down to how well these guys execute their pit stops. At this point in the race, the tire wear is so significant that it's hard for these guys to really make moves on anybody. I do think, however, that Zachary Fitzwater was able to make a move there on Elijah Gordon. This 66 is pretty fast right now. He's moving up through the field very well. But still, as of the way they currently run, Trey Smith holds on to the points lead. So we'll have to see if that 41 falls back, if Fitzwater can, in fact, surpass him on the pit lane here. And these guys here, they're actually closing in on the race leaders. Rodriguez and Ace Garcia side by side in contact between Troxel and Brandon Nelson off the exit of the corner right there. Now you got Monaco and Lewis looking to close in, and Monaco's going to have a shot here to the inside. Ethan Lewis to the inside of Eric Monaco there now, and they're all kind of jamming up behind this 22 of Brandon Nelson. He got into Troxel there. Looks like the 37 might have a shot here at getting around the 22. Maybe not.
No, but he's
Someone's
going
to pass somebody here.
Budweiser balcony, and yeah, that was going to happen right there, going through that right-hander. You knew that Cartoon Network car was going to have a difficult time holding on to the spot, and here comes I think that's the 11 of Ethan Lewis. Not quite able to get by, though, for the time being, and Eric Monaco will stay ahead of that 11. As we come around onto the front straightaway, we'll see if we have any takers down the pit road.
Ooh.
Yes, in fact, we do.
So the leader staying out. Kinghart and Reynolds, but Rodriguez coming down. Ace Garcia coming down. Troxel, Brandon Nelson, Eric Monaco, Caleb Rose, Zachary Fitzwater, Elijah Gordon, and Nathan Faden in the back, and then way in the back, Cole Raymond. We already had some guys come down. Zidell, the 24 machine here, Reggie Fogelman, and then Landon Smith Jr. in the 34 machine. They may have already come down the pit lane, so the cycle may have begun that last lap. We'll focus with these guys and see who comes off first. It looks like it's going to be Rodriguez, who was ahead of all those guys. So we'll have to see. Oh, and I think we had contact. Caleb Rose around in the 55. I'm wondering if, yeah, there might be some wing damage on Fitzwater. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But Caleb Rose got spun around there on the pit lane, and that could affect the aerodynamics on that machine, and the leaders are definitely going to have to come down right here. Kinghart, Reynolds, and then you got the 41 machine of Trey Smith, Nicholas Samedeo coming down, Ethan Lewis, and Scott Upton. Logan Williams, I believe, probably came down the pit lane whenever the skirmish happened, but he's probably going to have to come back down again. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end of the race now. Rodriguez is the leader of the guys who have already come down the pit lane. We're going to have to see where he comes in relation to everybody else right here. And I do believe Fogelman and Zidell had already come down the pit lane, so have to see where they end up cycling through once all this is said and done. I imagine it's going to be 4 tires for a lot of these guys. Rodriguez coming off of turn number 9 right here, and the leaders coming off the pit lane. Richard Kinghart and Chris Reynolds, and boy, that was close there between Samedeo and Brian Rodriguez, but Rodriguez is going to file into the same position he was in. Trey Smith and Nicholas Samedeo are going to jump Ace Garcia, however. But not much change. Eric Monaco lost a couple of positions right there, but not much change inside the top 5, and it looks like Kinghart and Reynolds might pull away from the rest of this field. You got Samedeo trying to make a move here on Trey Smith. That will be presumably for the 4th position.
He's not quite going to get there by the time they go up through Monroe's Ridge, but maybe, nope, they got sideways there coming out of 6. And now through Wings Leg and into the sweeper once again as we come around for 8 laps to go. Kinghart still got ahead of everybody, and I think he might have a chance of leading every single lap here in this race. Oh man, look at Garcia go right to the inside and around.
And we got
what
some
a
passes
move
back in here. Jay Knapp getting around the 11 machine of Ethan Lewis, and then the 34 Landon Smith Jr. I think got around Eric Monaco there. And for Jay Knapp's case, he is 10th, but I think he's still going to have to make another stop in this race because I believe those guys who were caught up in whatever incident occurred came down the pit lane. Back to the race lead. Kinghart pulling away from Chris Reynolds right now, but Brian Rodriguez is closing in on Reynolds. Number 50 kind of hanging all alone right there, and he may be surpassed by this 13 here soon. Ace Garcia, though, able to get around Samedeo, and that 32 seems to have a pretty fast car early on in the run here. We'll have to see if these guys close in on Kinghart. You know, one mistake out of the 97, and we've seen these guys kind of get loose throughout the day. That could definitely shake up the running order if one guy makes a mistake.
Yeah, and as soon as Kinghart makes a single mistake, you've got to believe that Reynolds is going to be in perfect position to get around it. He'd walk past him if he was close enough. But now we're seeing some side-by-side going on. Not quite going off into the Castro corner. They'll stay single file.
Turner got around Fitzwater there. That is back in for the 13th position. So Fitzwater's still in 14th, so I really didn't gain anything. No one really gained anything. There wasn't an advantage coming down a lap early or coming down a lap late. Everyone kind of stayed in their respective positions, but this race is far from over, and, you know, You may not think these guys will make a pass for the race lead, but I'll always remember Lime Rock Park, which, hey, that's the next race here in the Haas IndyCar Series, by the way. Lime Rock Park 2020. Marty Johnson was the dominant driver in the second half of that race. On the last lap, Chase Harris made a pass. Presumably one of the hardest places to make a pass on the circuit. He got it done. So I think it's a little easier to make a pass here at Willow Springs. And if that number 50 machine happens to be right there in the gearbox of the 97 near the end of this race, he could have a very good opportunity at getting his first win in the Haas IndyCar Series, and maybe his first win on the channel, too. But either way, 6 to go here in the Grand Prix of California for Richard Kinghart, who has no doubt been the dominant force of this race. He's going to get the extra bonus point for leading the most laps here today. Of course, he won the pole, he's led a lap, so 3 bonus points for Kinghart here in this event. But will he get the 50 that goes along with winning the race?
Well, we'll say the lead gap shrunk that last lap by about 4/10, and Reynolds definitely has a fast car under him, and it's only just a question of whether he can catch up to Kinghart in time and get around. And as you mentioned earlier, it's one thing to catch up to someone, it's a whole other thing to get around them, and that is just the epitome of a fast-flowing road course, which is exactly what this is. So Reynolds is going to have his work cut out for him here in these final 5 laps here in the Grand Prix of California.
No doubt about it. But he's still going to have an opportunity and a chance to do it. So we'll have to see how it all goes down. Thomas Trossel closing in a little bit there on San Medeo. How about Landon Smith Jr.? I think he played a little bit of strategy. He's top 10 right now. And I think Fitzwater does have some damage to his wing, because now Elijah Gordon has gone around him. That is for the 16th position, so Fitzwater really falling back here at Willow Springs, and that's a tough break for him. It looks like if the things stay the way they are, he will lose his points lead heading in the Lime Rock Park 2 weeks from now. Reynolds is closing in, though, on Richard Kinghart here with 5 laps to go at Willow Springs. We're just going to have to see if Reynolds has an opportunity on this number 97.
Well, he's going to be, if he's not going to be able to get around, he's at least going to come really, really close. He's in the draft of that 97 as they go into turn 8, and I'm telling you, if Kinghart makes a mistake or two, Reynolds is going to be right all. Oh well, Reynolds just made a mistake right there. You saw him buckle going into turn 9, got a little sideways, then it caught. That may slow him up a little bit. You see everybody going wide a little bit out of turn 9. Yeah, he did lose some time there. 7/10 now, the gap for these final 4 laps, but Reynolds definitely has time. It's all what he does with that time.
Trey Smith trying for a podium here on Brian Rodriguez. He may have an opportunity doing that. He's right on the gearbox of this number 13 machine, but like you said, you know, it's easy to buckle up here at this track. It's just so loose throughout these corners. Trey Smith not quite there on the 13 yet, but he may have an opportunity at maybe getting around him through turn number 9. We saw Ace Garcia do that on Nicolas San Medeo a couple laps ago. And Trey Smith definitely appears to be faster than this 13 right now. As far as I remember, I think they came down on different laps, so that 41's tires is slightly better than the 13's right now, and I think that might be the difference as he moves to the inside, and he's going to take it away. That was close there between Trey Smith and Brian Rodriguez, but Trey Smith to the podium position. And that right there is a gain of 3 points for Trey Smith as well, so that's good news there for Trey Smith and taking this points lead. At number 66, though, continues to fall back after his damage with Caleb Rose. He's now down to the 18th position. Caleb Rose may even get around him here in the 55. Then you got Cole Raymond in the 20th position. Brock Nelson 21st. Noah Clifton back in there. Angel Olvera. Jay Knapp. Then Zach Winkle and Logan Williams.
Thaden's a little deeper in the field too, so there's a very good chance that Smith could come out of here with at least a half race worth of a points lead from Willow Springs, but will he be able to hold on to it that big? I mean, you think about, you mentioned Chase Harris earlier at Lime Rock. He had a huge points lead after some amount of races in 2020, but then almost choked it all away before the season roundup. He ended up winning the championship, of course, but Smith definitely wanting to try to repeat history here. He hasn't come out of the gate and won as many races as Harris did, granted, but of course that being a 16 race season, this being a 20 race season, I mean, hey, 5 wins would still be just incredible. But Smith has still stayed very consistent. Obviously, an average finish ratio of 6.6 in the first 5 races of the season. So he's definitely doing something right here, looking for a strong podium here as we're coming around for the white flag this time, and about a half-second difference the last time through between the 97 of Kinghart and the 50 of Reynolds. We'll have to see if maybe this order will change, or Kinghart will be able to go flag to flag here at Willow Springs.
He could very well pull it off. White flag in the air here in the Grand Prix of California for Richard Kinghart. It has been a flawless weekend for this team, and he's got an 0.8 of a second lead on Chris Reynolds here on the final lap, so it's looking pretty good for Kinghart here for his 3rd IndyCar Series win. But it's not over until it's over. I don't think we'll ever see a season quite like what Chase Harris did in 2020. That was unprecedented what he did that year. Chris Fitzwater won 2 of the first 3 races this season, but as you can tell on the leaderboard there, he has fallen all the way back to 22nd, and he will definitely lose the points, lead to Trey Smith here at the end of this race. And Richard Kinghart and NS Racing is going to go back-to-back. They won Richmond with Elijah Gordon last week, and it looks like they're going to get it done here with Richard Kinghart at Willow Springs, and a great performance out of this team. And Kinghart's definitely going to shoot his way up in the points standings after this one as well. Off of turn number 9, Richard Kinghart is going to win the Grand Prix of California here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Chris Reynolds second, Trey Smith with the podium. Then Brian Rodriguez, Ace Garcia, Nicholas Samadillo, Troxel, Brandon Nelson, Scott Upton, Landon Smith Jr., the top 10.
What a great performance there by Richard Kinghart, and I think he led every single lap as everything's going to go down here. So big attaboy to him, and he came in to this weekend here. Let's see, 14th in the point standings, 80 points behind Zachary Fitzwater. I don't know how much he's going to gain, considering Trey Smith wasn't really that far behind Fitzwater to begin with, so he may take a few points off of that gap, but still, just what an incredible run he put on, and what a statement to the rest of his competitors here.
Absolutely. Solid run for the number 17. And the final guys coming across the start-finish line here, Zach Winkle and Logan Williams. Everyone's going to finish on the lead lap, interestingly enough, but the guy who led every lap going to victory lane, that is Richard Kinghart. But that finish was a little bit closer than I think he would have liked. Reynolds never really fell off of him, and you got to give Chris Reynolds a lot of credit. I mean, he was second, but he was right there with him the entire race. Kinghart never pulled away. Trey Smith there with an excellent run there. Got that pass made on Brian Rodriguez, and then you got Ace Garcia, Nicholas Samadillo. All the Fast 6 drivers finished top 6 here today. Of course, we had that one incident. You guys saw that. And then the second incident on the pit lane between Fitzwater and Caleb Rose. But all in all, a very nice, clean race for the most part. Everyone finished on the lead lap. Very minimal damage on those who did get involved in accidents here today. And flag-to-flag run for Richard Kinghart. First time we've seen that in quite some time in any race here on the channel that wasn't a sprint race in the Wawa Pro Series, because those races are kind of short. But definitely a good run there for Richard Kinghart. And I think this is going to be a good testing ground than what we're going to see at Lime Rock Park. Lime Rock Park is very difficult to make passes there. Qualifying is definitely going to come into play. How do you think that race is going to go 2 weeks' time from now?
I think it's going to be pretty similarly flowing to what we saw here. Again, it's another fast course with very wide turns, but I don't know if I'd bank on somebody going flag to flag necessarily, but hey, I could be proven completely wrong. I mean, we saw basically what we thought was impossible happen in 2020. Now maybe that was just a 1 in a million thing that happened, but it is possible that somebody could be overtaken on pit road or have some sort of problem there. It is a very interesting racetrack, and I'm looking forward to that one, to be honest. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting race.
Absolutely. We're going to have a lot of fun with that one. the Grand Prix of Lime Rock, 34 laps. So longest race we've ever done there. It used to be 27 laps, and now a little bit longer, 34 laps of action on that 1.5 mile road course in Connecticut. But it should be a fun one. We've gone there every season of the Haas IndyCar Series, every time we've had a full season, at least. We didn't have a full season last year, but we're having a nice full season this year, and Richard Kinghart, the next winner here in the Haas IndyCar Series 2022. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys 2 weeks' time in the Lime Rock Park event, and then after that it's Kansas, Indy Road Course, and then the holy grail of them all, the Indianapolis 250. We are more than excited for that in less than 2 months. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Richard Kinghart on behalf of Josh Williamson. Try to do better the next time. Here are the points for the Haas IndyCar Series after 6 races, and I will see you guys later.